So now we're on to day 62. Got 6 more runs, including this one, to go. They should all be roughly 30 milers approximately if I break them down and make them even. Took a chunk out of yesterday's. I mean, the morning here, basically getting treated to some of the best views of the Danube. It's right by me here, I could reach out and touch it. Got these paths that are running right alongside it. Processions of swans up here. And it's things like this that I'm feeling tired this morning. I feel heavy. Got the backpack back on. Got a sort of slight headache. Just feeling a bit empty. But then you've got this. And it's this kind of stuff that I know I'm going to miss in 7 days' time when I've finished. Or in a week's time when I'm back at my desk. So I'm just going to try and drink it in. Put all of that other stuff to one side. All of the things that are slightly uncomfortable. That, are less than perfect. And I'm just going to try and enjoy being in this environment, moving through this space, because it's absolutely glorious. It's going to be a hot one today. We started a bit later because we had a 3-hour drive to get to the start point. It's already about 23, I think. It's going to be about 25, 26 later on, or pretty quick. So we're going to be moving through a bit more heat today. And I've also had to walk an extra mile to the start point because there was a bridge closed for construction back there. So I'm not even at my start point yet. But yeah, body feels a bit tired. I thought it would after yesterday. I paid a bit of a price probably for running a bit too hard yesterday in the beginning. But we'll warm up and we'll ease into it. And whatever happens, we're going to get it done. So if it takes a bit longer, it takes a bit longer. But we will slog on through, get day 62 done, and then have 5 to go. It sounds mad that in such small numbers now. We're so close. Just need to be sensible, keep the head screwed on, keep working hard, and the goal is coming into sight. So I'm jumping up a hill, 7 miles in, or coming up to 7 miles in, an hour and a half. Kind of moving all right, but as I feared, I think today is going to be one of those where I've got to dig in and find a little bit of extra from somewhere. I'm not finding it easy. I've got a little bit of not a headache, but I don't know. Just not feeling 100% today. I don't know whether it's I ran hard yesterday in the heat or what, but it's just making the effort levels feel a little bit extra today. So anyway, we're just going to keep cracking on. So today's run I wanted to dedicate to the other person without whom I literally wouldn't be here, and that's my dad. Now, like my mum, my dad also brought me up to believe that anything was possible, supported me in sort of pursuing my dreams, firstly of becoming a professional footballer. Like many young kids, that's what my original kind of dream was, wanted that, and that meant lots of driving around, lots of early mornings, lots of sacrifices, driving me on Sundays and midweek and all of that kind of stuff. And they always they never once sort of told me that it wasn't possible, that if you wanted to go for it, I could go for it. I just, it was important to put in the hard work, be committed, and beyond football, that anything else was possible. Even in education or whatever, just to dream big, and if you're going to dream big, to go for it. And that's exactly what my dad said to me before I came out here. He said that no matter what happens when you get out here, that I'm proud of you for giving this a go, and that's all that matters, that most people wouldn't have even dreamed to go and get to the start line of this. And that's exactly kind of how I felt. But also, I really look up to my dad, and I'm very proud of him as someone who's overcome some very, very big obstacles in life. Something that I think, would have downed other people. They may have chucked in the towel. My dad had to do some very, very big kind of life sort of transformation. I'm not going to go into the full details of why, because I don't think he'd want me to. But to watch the transformation and to see somebody go from being in such a difficult position to coming out renewed, stronger, basically a better person, make a better sort of version of themselves through an awful lot of adversity. I couldn't be prouder, and actually that's something that I carry into this. If you've watched someone do something like that, and you know the struggles they've been through, and you see the resolve and the commitment and the dedication they've put into that and the hard work that it takes to basically look at yourself and go, I need to be something different. I need to be a better person, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be that better person. And then that is exactly what my dad has done. And I know it wasn't easy, and it wasn't always easy to deal with being, a son when someone's going through that. But, what a man now, completely different person. And I absolutely salute that. And I take that spirit into this run. And as I said, I couldn't be prouder of my dad for the person that he has become. And so this run, Dad, this one's for you, mate. I know if you're out here, you'd be saying that I was cheating and going the wrong way. You'd be racing me and winding me up and making jokes about how I'm not doing it right. But this is for you. So day 62 is done. It's in the bag. It was a 32 miler in the end. This morning we had a little bit of a problem. I had to start further back along the Danube than the end point yesterday in a different place, because when we drove out, the way the sat-nav took us, we were supposed to be going over a bridge to take me to my start point. But the bridge was closed, so I had to start further back, and I think I did an extra kind of mile and a half across the bottom. So that was a little bit of extra there. And I have to say, for the first 10 miles or whatever, 10, 12 miles, I was on the struggle bus. It was a real difficult run today. Just couldn't get into it, wasn't feeling it. I was thinking that's possibly the heaviest and most tired I've felt, and also the most sort of disinclined to run that I've felt so early on in any of these runs. I think even after I did the really long run in the 41 degree heat in Serbia that following day, which was difficult, I don't really think it was quite as troubling as this one was. And I'm not really too sure why. Maybe I just ran too hard yesterday. Maybe it was the fact that I started a bit further back. Maybe it was the fact that I put the pack back on and things were different. And it's funny, like when things sort of change out here, when you kind of get into a rhythm of a certain way of working and then things change, you can get inside your own head a little bit, and you start to sort of, I don't worry about the change, but it just these little things sort of knock you off balance a bit mentally. And yeah, all of a sudden 30 miles felt like a really long way, and start to question whether or not I had it in me. All these things kind of swimming around together. I think I was sort of running with a bit of a troubled mind this morning. I had a little bit of not a full headache, but I felt like I was sort of fighting off a bit of a cold this morning. That was worrying me as well. Just wasn't at the races, basically. So then about 30 miles in, I stopped outside a little bakery in the first major town that I came to. And I had some kind of cherry cake, and I had coffee, and I had a fizzy apple, and I had a fizzy water. And I had a conversation with these two German guys who were obviously sort of well known in the village, because everybody who came into the bakery was sort of chatting to them and having a laugh, and there was lots of giggling and good humour. And we had a little bit of a chat in German with my kind of limited German and their limited English. And basically, somehow from eating that, having that chat, I walked the next kind of mile or so after that, and then I was a different runner, basically. I somehow flicked a switch. All of a sudden, my mind cleared. I was replaced all the negative with really positive feeling, and I started to run really, really well. And then I hit a stretch of the Danube that was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, most of today I was running on the top of dikes, on these kind of grassed over or gravelly or kind of, you know, it's a bit like the bit where you get the kind of grass that goes down the middle and you get the two sort of lanes that are cut down the side, you know, that kind of thing. And it went on for miles and miles and miles, often with the Danube right next to you gleaming, sometimes with the forest bringing you kind of shade, but these amazing bright greens and the colours and just the freshness. It was warm initially without being kind of too hot. It was just bright and vibrant and really, really lovely. And I just felt alive, like popped a bit of music and just felt really, really grateful to be where I was. And it was such a change from the first 10 miles where I was, you know, maybe some of it was along those kind of paths, but some of it was also by the side of a road. And I was just sort of was just struggling. And the change in mindset was, I think, quite stark and quite amazing. And I was very, very happy about it. Towards the end, it got hot. It got very hot. It went up to sort of like 27, 28 degrees. And I sort of slowed and walked a bit. And it took me a little bit longer than I really wanted. I was on my feet for sort of 6.5, 7 hours, which is a bit longer than I would really like. But, you know, at the same time, I did take some walking breaks. And I decided to sort of enjoy the environment and enjoy what was around me. You know, with only kind of, at that point, 6 days to go of this, I just think it's really important that I drink in as much as I can of this experience. And sometimes you can feel like you're running to the end and rushing it a bit. I just decided, you know, to take it easy. I'm back to being kind of solo tonight, whilst everybody's gone away around and done all the kind of different collections and moving around with the crew. They'll be back tomorrow. So I just thought, well, there's no real hurry. It's not going to get too hot, so just enjoy yourself. And that's what I did. Got it finished, ran well, had a few things at the end, kind of my left foot, the plantar sort of started to grumble, but I just eased back, let it go. The other thing, I really struggled out there. Again, I said it the other night, but I hadn't really expected this, but there's nowhere to get water here. It's so kind of, you're not really that far from civilization, but it's at the same time, it's far enough to, you know, you feel really remote and you're not going to run 2.5 miles in to a village to get water. So I just had to sort of make do, and it was fine right up until the last, say, sort of 6 or 7 Ks. I ended up going through a village and all the places that were supposed to be open were shut. There was this place called the Radfara Oasis, which is like a cyclist's oasis, and I saw the sign and I was like, oh, that's amazing. I went around the corner and the oasis was shut. It was a mirage, not an oasis. And those kind of things, you need to go your way, because that would have just given me water at that point, would have just given me enough energy, or it would have given me what I needed to get through the last sort of few Ks without getting too beaten up. But I was wilted and withered by the time I sort of actually entered the town where my accommodation is. But overall, I'm happy. You know, it's done. I ran really well, really overall with a pack. Got used to having that back on, and yeah, we've made good distance today. Again, over 30 was what I needed to do, so that's fine. I've now got, I think, I worked it out, I think I've got 5 days, and if I average out the distance, it's going to be like 32.7 miles every single day for 5 days. So there's still big running to do every day, and there's still sort of a challenge ahead, but I know what I've got to do now to get to the finish line. So yeah, and I'm confident to the crew come back tomorrow. I'll do my run and I'll meet them at the end. That'll be my sister and my nephew. She's also collecting my mum from Munich airport and her partner. So at the end of tomorrow's run, I get to give my mum a hug, and that is a big motivation. You know, it'd be lovely to see her. I haven't seen her for a long time, apart from on FaceTime. She's been messaging me every day and with the support. And so that's something to really look forward to. And then my wife and my son are going to come back from Zurich with the camper van, which is where we'll be sleeping. From now on, adding another dimension to this, cramping in the camper van after the runs. But I'm also looking forward to that, a little bit of adventure with my son. So yeah, it'll all change again tomorrow, but I'm in good spirits. I'm just refueling, hydrating. You can see over here, the refuel and hydration stations. Got everything I need, and then I'll get some good kit. But yeah, positive, really positive, and just kind of looking forward to running again tomorrow to take off another of the days. And we're moving ever closer to Donau, Eschingen and the source. And yeah, 90% happy runner, so all good. And yeah, I will talk to you guys all in the morning. But for now, from where am I? I'm in Dillingen, which is yeah, I don't know, somewhere in Germany by the Danube. So yeah, until tomorrow, I'm off to get some rest, and I will see you all later.